Ma about the people and the family in the old country, and she didn't know outside of the cousins and her
Well,
aunts
because
and
you know,
uncles.
did Bobby
She
tell
didn't
you
know
this?
anything else besides that. None.
Well,
They
she
had
would
no,
tell me the
and
stories
no,
at night when
they
I
had
go
no
to work.
memory of
She
of
would
their
tell me
family
about,
tree.
No, she knew,
They
had
knew
a-
no, I never
had
heard it.
a
she didn't.
roadhouse.
She never talked about family
She
tree.
never,
They
I
didn't
don't think
know.
she
in
knew.
Russia.
Well, the
I
point
don't
is,
thi-
everybody has a
remember-
family tree. How
She
come
used
they
to
didn't
tell
know
me
anything?
about
No, she always talked about her grandmother.
What's that?
Her grandmother, she was always talking to me about her.
yeah.
Bobby didn't, Ma didn't know anything about it, outside of the cousins and aunts and uncles. She didn't know anything about the history of their family, nothing,
When you say grandmother,
Her grandmother.
nothing.
her
Where they
grandmother?
came from,
Or her
go
mother.
back,
Her
they had no
mother's-
She
understanding.
mother's
she didn't
mother.
tell you where she came
What's
from?
that?
She didn't tell you where she
Yeah.
came from?
Really?
Of course, but the point is, she knew her cousins, uncles and aunts, but she didn't know anything before that,
Oh, no.
nothing, no.
No, she
And
didn't.
Pa didn't either. They had no connection with their ancestry, none.
No, that nobody knows the ancestry. I tried one
Well,
time
they know,
going on the
I asked
computer.
both of them, they didn't know
And all I
anything about
got
it.
was
No.
showing me and Bobby and
Maybe
my
you asked, I
father
didn't.
landing in Ellis Island.
Yeah, but they did, what Morris is trying to tell you, what Morris is trying to tell you, actually, if you wanna go back on a family tree,
There's,
all you know is your uncles and your
Yeah.
aunts.
that's all.
That's all, but go back and say, hey, I had a grandfather
We,
or a
we
grandmother
couldn't-
that went back,
We couldn't find them,
you know, 2 centuries before,
yeah.
maybe,
Milty,
he was a prince or something.
cookies.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't know.
no records.
Sam.
No,
Yeah.
and, you know, they didn't even know
Oh, that's
what a
some of your
birthday
fruit.
was,
Can I get them?
or if they would say,
I
well,
can eat it.
maybe it was
Gotta
a
eat
Yom
some of your
Kippur a few
I don't want
days
this.
before, a
That's
few
it. I
days
want the
after,
fruit.
they didn't know. No birth
Some fruit.
certificates, no nothing. So, you know, it was.
You got, I don't know who made your strudel,
I'll
did
tell
you make
one
your own
thing, I
strudel?
wouldn't wanna
Everything's
live in those
fine.
It's
years.
not for you.
Forget
I
it.
know.
There's nothing good in here, Mark.
Forget
I'm
it.
just
Who made
saying,
strudel? Who made it?
that's, my
I bought it
that
for-
looks like my mother's strudel.
Where's the,
Right here.
The strudel
Well,
looks like what
yeah.
Mom
Let
made.
me have
I
it.
need
It's not
to-
burnt.
It would have to
It's
be
not really,
burnt.
yeah, it's not really burnt, so I mean, I don't know, that doesn't look like
Taking
it.
any blame if it's not good or anything.
That's right, strudel.
Oh, it's always burnt to
Always
a crisp, and they liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The more
I
burnt
liked
it
it.
was,
I
the
liked it
better.
when it was burnt.
She only had one
You want
recipe.
something?
No,
but
I don't
She
think
put it into different shapes.
it.
The
She
strudel
never
recipe
came
was
over
the
without
exact same
strudel
as
though.
the other recipe.
Never came to
That
this
was her
house
calling
without
card.
strudel in her hands.
Was she a baker then? And when you were kids? Or, yeah, she did?
well, they had my grandmother had a bar room, bakery, bar room, kind of a business.
She had a roadhouse.
It was a roadhouse. Where was this?
In Russia.
Oh,
In
before they
Russia.
came over, okay.
Okay, my mother and Ruchel did the baking,
Oh, really?
okay?
I didn't know.
And wait a minute, am I right? And what's her name? The other one from Syracuse. She was the bartender. How did she tell me? And then they'd switch around, and Bobby would sit in the chair and watch over everything. But Bobby was a good baker too,
She was.
okay?
Well, she used to tell me at night how they served the rations. You know, they were
Right.
selling the herring,
Right,
take out the middle, push it together.
yeah.
That's how they,
They'd steal a piece in the middle.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, they would cut out a piece of the herring in the middle and then push the head and the tail together. So
Oh.
here what we're selling you, but they already took out a piece and that's
Right.
how they go on and
Go
survive
on
with.
and be able to have a
food,
good
yeah.
meal.
Yeah, but
I thought that was a great story. He had told me
Now
that
that
a while
I never
ago.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had a very lucrative business there, okay? And I understood when she came over, she had a trunk. It wasn't a very large trunk, but the trunk was full of rubles, which wasn't worth the powder to blow them to hell. You know, today, maybe, who knows? But it was full of it, you could wallpaper a wall,
Huh.
but it was worthless, you know.
Different world.
A different world, different timing.
Hmm.
But, they all came over here and they worked their ass off.
Interesting stories they used to tell.
You take Aunt Ida, and my Uncle Nate.
Do you remember any of them?
Was Uncle Jay, Uncle Mayor.
You can call it from rags to riches.
Remember Uncle Mayor
Watch this.
telling stories?
I tell you, she worked just like a man.
No,
Auntie
Mayor.
Ida,
Neach, Uncle Neach,
Uncle Neach and Ida,
about the stories.
right.
I would
She
say the
worked
title of this
Just
would
like a
be,
man.
the title of this would be
That
From
was
Rags
brother
to
and
Riches.
sister married brother and
Because
sister.
all my uncles were ragmen, almost.
Right.
The others were the, selling fruit and vegetable. Uncle Joe and Uncle Sam sold fruits and vegetables.
Any
But all the others
professionals?
were ragmen.
I mean, any schooling? No
Rags,
no
that's
school.
the title of your thing, From
No, no,
Rags to
no.
Riches.
I don't mind.
No.
But no, like
Nobody went to,
That's
and no
what it was.
professions like
Rags to
tailoring or
Nothing,
nothing.
nothing.
Now, who would believe that?
No.
First
Only in this
profession would
country.
probably be my father being a welder.
Only in
Yeah.
this country,
Uncle Jake was,
from
had a
ragman
truck
to
with
riches.
fruit and
So you were the
vegetables.
first, Milt, you were the first one who graduated college.
Sure,
luckily.
yeah. Right,
Still?
With a good push, huh?
definitely.
I had to push myself.
But then it's.
Well, you had to wake up. And I remember, that's all I remember of you. In those years, you couldn't wake up in the morning.
I still can't.
Some things don't change.
So what kind of conversation did you ever have with Pa? Anybody?
What?
Did you ever have a heart-to-heart conversation with Pa
Oh,
That you remember,
that
Dad.
you can remember?
No,
when didn't have too much conversation with Pa. He was always working hard. He would come home at night and he would be tired. I remember he used to smoke Pall Mall.
Pa was,
Old goals,
he
too.
smoked all day long, he was a
Fatima.
chain smoker, that's
Yeah.
what killed
He
him.
had
And they-
Fatima.
Yeah,
I
They
should
they
know.
made him
So
cut the
Turkish cigarette.
cigarettes in half.
I hated it.
So nobody had a conversation with him?
Huh?
Nobody ever had a conversation with him?
Well, you had conversation, but they were
I don't
based
mean-
on
I don't
what
mean
you
no.
was doing and.
How about on Sundays? I mean, like, would you be able to converse on Sunday?
Come Sunday, my uncles would be over the house no later than 10 o'clock.
In the
All my
morning?
uncles,
In the morning?
in the morning. They'd come over, they'd bring stuff.
Stuff for
from
Bubby.
They could, yeah, for Bubby. And they'd sit down at the kitchen table, and all of a sudden a bottle of booze would pop
At
up.
10 in the morning on Sunday?
Yeah.
Uncle
Doesn't make
Uncle
any
Joe
And it
was
would,
the big
the
boozer.
bottle would all of a
Uncle Joe.
sudden appear,
He was.
and they'd be taking their shots, and Ma
Everybody
would
would
bring
have a
out
shot,
her
he'd have six.
bakery
Uncle
stuff.
Joe didn't stop because even when we were in Brighton, he'd be there every Sunday morning.
Every Sunday morning.
Cigar, she'd give him
Yeah.
a drink or two,
Interesting.
and they talked about horses. His horses,
Oh, his horses.
yeah.
And then Uncle,
You know, because he always had
Uncle
horses.
Sam came
Horse and
over.
wagon.
He
They
had
always
the
go
first
back to
car.
that story.
How old were you, Melty, when they moved from Cambridge to
10,
10? So you were just 10 when they moved to Brighton.
10 or 11 something.
And how long did your dad live before he died? When he
He
went
died
to
in 1949. so-
About a year.
about a year in Brighton, and then he died.
No, when you moved?
Well, what year were you born?
Yeah, it's right.
37.
37, yeah, so it might have been right
About a
around.
year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I only asked the question because I never had a conversation with him.
Never.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so the question is, you worked with your father for a point of time, right? And Dad, you worked with your father for a point of time.
I worked with my father for a solid 6 months,
Yeah.
helping him get the store in Emmons Square started.
Right.
then I went into the service.
Okay,
Right.
so so I guess what Milt wants to know, in those 6 months of working with him, I've worked with you for 50 years, and we've had numerous conversations in between those 50 years. So what Milt wants to know is, do you remember any of the more personal conversations that you
No.
have ever had or thought of with your
He
father?
didn't have personal conversations,
No, we
always
never
talked
had Chris.
I worked with him
about the
8
work,
years.
the business,
I
the
worked with my
stuff like
father
that,
8
nothing
years.
personal.
Nothing personal. All right, so you worked for him
I
He
for
worked
8
with
didn't
years.
have a personal life
8
at all, really.
almost 8 years, and he never got personal.
No.
My father was a quiet guy,
Quiet guy,
wouldn't say a harsh word to anyone, the sweetest guy in the world.
yeah.
No
They also
arrogancy,
didn't
no
converse.
bossy, no nothing.
Yeah.
I worked with him, no. Because if he was like that, I would not work with him.
He
was a nice guy.
How was the,
But he's very personal. He never shared anything with anybody.
how about like,
No, you
Bobby
never
and
know
him
the guy,
though?
no.
Morris, how about their relationship? I mean,
Oh,
did
can
you
I
ever
get you
notice
something?
like where they were, you
Can I
know,
get you,
They had
you want
a good
anything I can get?
they had a
you?
good relationship? Did you notice like affection? Were they affectionate with one another? Yeah.
They had arguments,
What are you talking about?
but
Ma and Pa,
nothing.
they did that, they
vicious
had
or
a
anything like that.
nice relationship.
Well, they must have had somewhat a nice relationship because they had 3 of you
I
in
had a
4
good
years.
relationship
So
with
there
my
must have been
father.
something
No,
that was
no,
work.
they
I
had
had a
close
good
relationship.
relationship. You know why?
She had it.
And then several
I had a
miscarriages.
good relationship.
Oh, really?
There was a few
I had because he
miscarriages too.
respected me. Bobby did not. Bobby was the power source. She was the boss. But my father never showed he was the boss. Always respect.
So wait,
Bobby
you're
didn't
saying your father
Bobby
was the
didn't come
boss?
from that.
No.
Is that what he's
No.
saying?
thing.
No, Bobby was the
the
boss.
power.
Yeah.
Well, you have
He
to
just
have, you have
showed
to have
power.
a good guy and a bad guy.
No, she
Oh, so
never
he was
showed
always
that.
the good guy.
Never showed
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
type of thing. She's
All right,
always a
I'm
boss.
gonna
Did you have
stop
a
the
good
camera
guy?
for a